All right, this is a fun video. Top 7 best draft picks of day 2. There were some good picks here, I thought, and some good moves in general. So, real quick, couple things to just so you understand how this works. First off, I am not going to do any of the teams that got quarterbacks because the teams that got quarterbacks, you all were awesome. Like that worked out for all of you. So honorable mention, everyone who got a quarterback, that was a good move. All of those, the 4 teams that ended up drafting, or 3 teams that drafted quarterbacks in this draft class, like, yeah, that was good value. These were, the Titans, the Falcons, and the Panthers all did a good job of, taking flyers on guys who could be successful. So I'm just going to put an honorable mention for all of those because those would, half the video would be quarterbacks if I included them. So just going to throw that out there. Also, keep in mind, these are not the top 7 best teams of round 1. These are just the best moves in general. So what were the best moves? And let's start off with an early one. It was the 3rd pick of this draft class. The Green Bay Packers, very early on, traded up to get Christian Watson, which just made sense. They could use a wide receiver. There is some DK Metcalf comparisons with him, so that's obviously awesome if you're a Packers fan. Doesn't mean he'll get there because, again, he is very raw as a prospect, but if anyone can help him reach his potential, it is Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. Maybe not if anyone, but those are 2 great guys to help him reach his potential. So I love that move. Yes, you gave up a lot of value, and some people were pointing out, oh, look at this trade value chart that says that the Packers, actually lost this trade with the Vikings. In a vacuum, yes, I think that's fair, but it's worth mentioning not all 34th overall picks are created equal. The Packers needed a receiver. There were only, a couple of elite of the elite guys left, and they weren't going to fall to the Packers, so they felt like they had to trade up. Did they give up a little bit much that you would have liked? Sure, but at the end of the day, you got your guy, and they had a good draft, and I feel like they had the extra capital to move up and get a receiver. I thought they should have done it round 1. They do it round 2, but still get a guy that you would want. So, yeah, I have that as a win. Also, 38. Arnold Ebiketie here with the Atlanta Falcons. So Falcons are on this list twice, kind of, because they got their honorable mentions with Ritter. But Arnold Ebiketie is another guy who I think he could be a really good, Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher. That's his potential. I think he should at least be a day 1 starter. So getting a good edge rusher, getting a great quarterback, or excuse me, maybe a great quarterback, a great wide receiver in Drake London with the number 8 overall pick, and you still have some potential with a quarterback. So really good draft from Atlanta's perspective, in my opinion, so far. And I like Troy Anderson too. He could have made this list. Maybe I considered him briefly, but I like the 7 guys I have here. Drake Jackson at 61. To the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers, again, they're a team that they value that edge rusher position highly, and Drake Jackson's a guy who I think is really underrated. I had a first-round grade on him and some other players who, another player, edge rusher, who I'm going to talk about before too long. I really liked him. So I think that he was a criminally underrated player throughout this process, and I think that he's someone who I could really see ending up being a really good, good, talented player. So 49ers didn't have a ton of draft capital, but this pick here, you're still getting a guy who's, I think, better than some guys who went in round 1, including the guy who went 15th overall and 16th overall in round 1. So that's how I think. But again, the draft it's not a crapshoot, but it's a guessing game for certainly, but an educated guessing game. Number 62, the Kansas City Chiefs here go with Brian Cook. So the Kansas City Chiefs drafting Brian Cook. I said number 62 because that's when he was drafted. So 61 and 62, 2 players I like a lot. Brian Cook, I think, will be really good with the Kansas City Chiefs. They could have used a safety, and I felt like this is the right time to draft a safety. You can typically get good safeties at this spot. Cook was my 40th rated prospect. I've been pounding the table saying this is a guy who you should draft, and so it's early on some boards, but it's late on mine. I think he's really good, and I think he'll fit in that defense very well as well. He's just someone who, when I watched him at Cincinnati, he was always in position. That's just, when I was studying his tape, he just understood what it takes to be a safety. Smart player for sure, so I like him. Next one, so this is number 5 on my list. I have 2 more after this. The Colts drafting Bernard Raymond. Raymond's a guy I'm stunned fell to 77. I really am. I had a mock draft where I had the Saints getting him with one of their first round picks. So he fell this far. I guess in hindsight, I get it. He does have kind of smaller arms. I think that could be a little bit concerning. He is a little bit older. That could be a little bit concerning. But I just thought he was so productive in college. I really liked him, and I think that he could have been, okay, I get the arguments. Maybe I was a little bit higher on him. Maybe he shouldn't be a first-round talent. Should at least be a second-round talent. Getting him all the way in round 3, he could be a day 1 starting tackle for the Colts. This is an awesome selection for another team that didn't have a ton of draft capital, but hey, you hit a home run with one of the later round picks, and you're doing all right. That's what the Rams did, right? They drafted well in late rounds despite not having a lot of first-round picks or any first-round picks ever. 2 left. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles drafting Nakobe Dean at 83. Here is my logic with this. So this is a weird one. Everyone had Nakobe Dean as like a mid-first rounder. I guess some people had him lower, but a lot of people had him as a mid-first rounder. He ends up falling all the way here to 83, which was surprising. Apparently there's some injury concerns, which is, okay, I get it. That's kind of why he fell. But I think at this spot at 83, it's worth taking the risk. He could be a legit good linebacker for you. You could use a linebacker, so there's inherent risk. But if he's just as good as he was in Georgia, he should be at least a good player. There's also some, I think it's fair to say, okay, the system that he was in, did that make him look better at times? And that's why he got overvalued by some people to some degree. And when he was falling, I even said, you know what, maybe I was a little high on him, but I wasn't that far off on him, I don't think. I think 83 feels weird to me, but that's what I think. Finally, number 7, I kind of alluded to him earlier, Cameron Thomas at 87 with the Arizona Cardinals. That is my 7th best move. I think Cameron Thomas is another guy who he's just good. And, him getting hurt and not being able to participate in the Senior Bowl and also in the Combine, that probably knocked him down a few pegs, I would assume, because I feel like his tape was way better than 87. His tape was at least a second-round grade, I thought. I had him as a first-round talent. I think Cameron Thomas could be a potential steal for the Arizona Cardinals. He can stop the run as well, which the Cardinals need. So, again, Cardinals had kind of a weird draft. They have him, actually, interesting enough, have a pick that made my worst, of this day 2, and then also a pick that made my best of day 2. The worst with Trey McBride, just because I didn't think they needed a tight end, but I like Trey McBride. So they got some good talent, actually, and some players I really like in this draft class. So, yeah, that's my 7 favorite moves of this draft class. All right, so that's going to be, I believe that's going to be it for tonight. I don't have any plans on other videos unless I come up with something after I hit stop recording. So I think that'll be it for today. Be a lighter day tomorrow on day 3 of the draft. I do have a few film studies still in the chamber ready to go with, so I made the Brian Robinson one. So only 3, Dameon Pierce, Darian Kennard, who I loved, and he's fallen, so that maybe I was wrong about that. I really liked him. Why is he going so far? This is disappointing. You get so excited about some of these guys, and then they fall. But also Isaiah Likely, the tight end. Those are the 3 film studies I have. So be on the lookout for those. And, when big news happens, I'll make videos about that as well. But yeah, lighter day tomorrow for any of you who care. Thank you for everyone who watched to the end of this video or watched any of all of this nonsense that I'm putting out on my channel. I'm having a great time with it. I hope you guys are as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.